make the best of it you can, certainly all things considered. Colin Jeter's had to do that, former LSU tight end, most recently with the Seattle Dragons of the XFL. Man, they were kind of the hot spot in the XFL with great crowds and a fun product. And then the plug got pulled because of the coronavirus scare and the pandemic. But Colin Jeter's good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. Hey, man, thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm doing well, Matt. How you doing?
Doing fantastic. Let me ask a very broad question to start. What's the last month been like in Seattle, which Washington State, of course, was ground zero for the start of this pandemic in the United States?
It's been somewhat hectic, I would say. There's been obviously lots of rumors going around, at least for us, around our building about what's going on, and there was rumors about what the league was going to do. But now that this has all happened, I guess it's got a little crazy up there, and they're doing everything they can to keep us healthy.
So are you still in Seattle, or did you leave?
We left. Actually, they sent us all home Saturday. So I'm back home in Long Beach, Texas right now.
So so walk me through a timeline of when you as players first kind of got the inclination that you might be put on hold to, hey, guys, it's over, go home.
Well, honestly, it was probably about 2 weeks ago. We kind of started to hear whispers about it, and coaches were talking about how the virus is getting worse and how Washington was getting worse. And it's kind of hard to believe that something like that would end your season. But the way it's grown and just what it's done to the country, I think it was something necessary. And, we just slowly started figuring out about it. When we went to play Houston, we actually had to pack some extra bags just in case, because they were talking about us staying in Houston after the game because of the situation in Washington. But we ended up not doing that. And then this past week, still somewhat hectic, and you can really start to hear rumors now. And they finally told us Thursday that, kind of get your stuff ready. We're thinking it's going to shut down, and that's what happened.
Did you feel unsafe in Seattle given the pandemic there?
I don't know about unsafe. We're kind of on a routine every day, and we kind of stick to ourselves. Certainly just, I think that with such a heavy population and the way our situation was, we basically had to go out to eat every night, which can be somewhat nerve-wracking being in a public restaurant. But for the most part, we felt fine. But certainly when it's such a hot spot, you definitely have that in the back of your mind the whole time. So it was what it was.
Colin Jeter's with us, former LSU tight end, now at the Seattle Dragons. He's on Twitter at ColinJeter81. So how exactly did you and your teammates get word that the season was canceled?
So they called a meeting. We were supposed to, I'll tell you what happened. That morning we showed up, had a normal morning meetings, went to practice, had practice, and we normally do a weight workout, and then we go back to watch film of the practice that day. And during lunch before our weight workout, there was kind of word that stuff was happening. I mean, the video guys were coming to look at coaches' computers, which isn't a normal thing. So we were all kind of on edge. And then instead of having our position meetings to watch film, they called an emergency team meeting. And by then you pretty much knew what it was. So they sat us down and just told us the situation and told us that we were going to be going home. And that was it.
What was your reaction whenever you got the news?
It was disappointment. I mean, a lot of guys in the same situation as me, we're in this league to get good film and be able to continue to play the game and hopefully get back to the NFL. And whenever your season gets cut short like that, you don't get all the film you necessarily want to. And I think a lot of guys were just kind of feeling like they were just starting to play their best football. So it was certainly disappointing. At the same time, you understand what you got to do. I mean, with it being such a hot spot, I think it's probably better for guys to get out of there. And kind of get home to where they can self-quarantine and be comfortable at home. But like I said, just disappointed that the season had to end early. Pretty confident they'll be back next year, but for now, it's just kind of wait and see what happens.
Let's talk a little bit about the XFL and the operation. I mean, outside looking in, I think it probably exceeded the expectations many had. For you, being there in the inaugural season, how did what you experienced as a player compare to what your expectation was going in?
Honestly, just being a guy, I didn't play in the Alliance League, but I was there for training camp until I had to get a foot surgery. But this compared to the Alliance, it was so much better. I mean, it was so much better organized, and you could tell it was well funded, and they had people in the position knowing what they were supposed to do. So it exceeded my expectations in that aspect. I thought it did a good job. They had great coaching staff, guys that had NFL or college experience, knew what they were doing, and people behind the scenes that also had experience. So it made it smooth for us. I mean, obviously we were some cities had it better. They had like St. Louis got to use the Rams old facility and stuff like that. But we just kind of had to make it work. We practiced at a high school, and we actually were fortunate enough we got to do all our meetings and everything at our hotel. So we kept everything in house. But it wasn't ideal. You know, it's not obviously going to be at the NFL level, but they did a lot of good things to keep it functional, and I think it was a successful league for the first season.
So you lived at a hotel?
Yeah, we did. We actually had to have roommates the whole season, so that kind of got somewhat annoying. But you know, we didn't. Yeah.
Who was your roommate?
My roommate was Mike Dunn, who played predominantly guard, but he played tackle for us. Great guy, great roommate. His only issue is he snores like a chainsaw at night. That was the real issue. But
all right, what's your big flaw as a roommate?
Ooh, my big flaw. I guess I could be a little messy. I kind of had my stuff thrown around everywhere in the corner. I don't know. Maybe I spent a little too much time to myself and not a whole lot of social time with him. But I don't know. You really have to get him on the show to tell you what my real flaws were, I guess.
Well, let's do it. Let's call him. Get a little three-way call rolling right now. You want to dial him up?
Let me see what I can do. Hold on.
All right. Well, hang on. Go ahead. Make that call, and I'll fill here while you do that. Colin Jeter is with us, former LSU tight end. Now with the Seattle Dragons in the XFL. They just had their season canceled. He's going to call. He said Mike Dunn was his roommate with the Seattle Dragons. So we'll see if he can get him on the line. That would be funny if he did. We haven't done anything like this before. Makes sense. So Michael Dunn, who had previously been with the Dolphins, maybe not. Have to get a Seattle Dragons roster. I don't know. This could play out well. It could not.
Okay. We got Mike on the line.
Mike, what's up, man? I can't believe this worked out. This is hella good timing. My name's Matt. How are you?
I'm good.
All right.
Yeah, I'm glad this worked out too.
Mike, where are you from, man?
I'm from Bethesda, Maryland.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to University of Maryland as well.
Okay.
Just local.
So was Matt Canada there when you were there?
No, he came afterwards, but
Croton?
no, he was at LSU OC before he got out there.
Yeah, man. What about Croton? Was he there?
No, he wasn't there either.
What about Greg Stadrawell? Was he there?
Yeah, that's.
Hell no, I was good. Hey, man, there was like this lineage of LSU coaches. It was a pipeline that left it.
Went from OC to Maryland, OC at LSU to Maryland.
That happens all the time, right?
Yeah, really.
But you know what? LSU got Cam Cameron in that instance. So, well, I could probably ask Colin his opinion on that. He might have a better take than me. All right, so Mike, what was being Colin's roommate was the worst part about it?
There really weren't bad parts. I mean,
wow.
So we got up. We got up to Seattle in January, and my roommate during all mini camp, all training camp, he ended up not making the team. So I was like I was thinking to myself, I was like, so what am I going to do for 10 weeks during the season? I don't even know who my roommate's going to be. And, Colin reached out to me, asked if I wanted to be roommates with him. I was like, of course. And I thought we had a really good roommate dynamic. We'd get back to the room, figure out what we're doing for dinner every night, and just watch TV. I beat him in Madden probably 80% of the time. But
true or false, Colin? True or false?
That's completely false, and he knows it's false.
I got him to quit multiple times, but.
Okay, there was one bad day where I did quit. I did rage quit for sure.
Colin, did you do the thing that I would do to my brother, which is like the frustrated restart button, like where you get super ticked because you're losing, you just hit the reset button?
I never quite hit the reset button. It was just kind of one of those things where it was like, all right, I'm down 21 points. I'm just gonna say, all right, let's just go ahead and repick teams.
Run it back.
Yeah. No, I would never do that. I'd hit the reset button, throw a remote, punch my brother, something like that, spit on him. I'd probably spit a little bit. I got a bad temper. All right, so Mike, what do you think Colin said was the worst part about rooming with you?
Snoring.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
so
there we
all right,
go.
here's my question though. So I snore also, but my wife tells me I snore. Otherwise, I'd have no idea I snore. So has this been a thing that many people have told you throughout the years, or did you just realize you snore?
So I've had on and off periods where my roommates or someone else has told me that I snored. I also feel like Colin was kind of nice because he never told me outright that I snore. It wasn't until like a couple weeks into it that like someone brought it up, and he was like, "Yeah, you snore a bit," and so he never like made it a point just to kind of like put it in my face, "Hey, you snore, like stop snoring." So I was very appreciative of that. Like he was very kind with it. But I've had some awful snoring roommates in the past. I remember back at Maryland, my roommate, we were playing at Indiana, and we were staying in Indianapolis. The game's in Bloomington, and my roommate snored so bad that I tried waking him up a couple times, go right back to sleep and snore. That I ended up taking a pillow and a blanket, went to the bathtub, and I just poached up in the bathtub and just fell asleep there the night before the game. So I'm glad Colin never had to do that. But.
You know what, though, Mike? I'll tell you this much. My feeling on that matter is you're not the one snoring. He's the or like if your roommate's the one that's a really bad snorer, like if that's he should have to go sleep in the tub.
I completely agree with you. I completely agree.
Yeah. Well, in this instance, Mike, you would have been in the one in the tub because you were bothering Colin.
I would have been forced in the.
It was never an issue if I beat him to sleep. It's just if I stayed up on the phone a little bit and then he fell asleep, then it's going to be at least an hour before I get to sleep.
It's the race to fall asleep. I'm all too familiar with that.
Exactly.
So.
And then, there'd be some nights like I'd wake up at 2 in the morning to him going, and I'd try the flip the switch with the lights on and off or something, or just start saying like Mike, and just act like I was back to sleeping. But I did what I could, but I try not to be too rude about it.
I would have so been rude. I'd have pushed him out of the bed, be like, "Hey, idiot, you're keeping me awake." That's what I would have done. And then Mike, who's apparently a giant human, he's an offensive lineman, probably would have snapped me in half. All right, last thing, guys, and I appreciate y'all having some fun. Colin Jeter, Mike Dunn of the Seattle Dragons in the XFL. What's next? Like, Colin, let me start. Well, actually, Mike, let me start with you since you were good enough to jump aboard unsolicited here. What's next for you, man? What do you do now that your season came to an end abruptly?
Well, I think just like every other XFL player, the goal of going to the XFL was to get back to the NFL. So obviously, we had 5 games. Felt really good about the tape I put out. So, it's kind of just talking with my agent and, figuring out the next step with getting back to the NFL, see what teams have to say. But, just like, with what's going on right now in the country, nobody really knows kind of what's happening, where you're kind of still just wait back and see. But, yeah, obviously the goal is to be back in the NFL. That's the plan. That's, you got to look at it like it's going to happen. So, that's just going forward what I'm going to be doing.
Crab cakes and football.
Oh, yeah, that's what Maryland's about.
That's what Maryland does. Except that LSU won a national title this year, skull-dragging everybody, and I'm not even sure Maryland went to a bowl. So sorry about that, Mike.
We would have won the NCAA tournament. We would have won March Madness if it happened. But
it's kind of really presumptive on your part, Mike. And now that's a red herring because we were talking about football, and then you just went to basketball. So maybe
that's what you got to do at Maryland. You got to go right to basketball. Basketball is cost.
You default to basketball. Colin,
you got it.
Colin, what about you, man? What's next?
I'm with Mike. It's just like you said. You hope what you put on film is good enough for the league. I think it's good that in our case that the CBA got done and the league's kind of getting going on time. The biggest issue right now is just with this virus. Like, I can't even go train at LSU or anything, so it's just trying to stay in shape in the meantime and trying to get back into it. That's the biggest issue.
Colin Jeter, Mike Dunn, couple of Seattle Dragons with the XFL. Season came to an abrupt end. But, guys, I wish you all the success, man. I'll probably bother y'all again. Who knows? If things get really, really bare, like in May or June and we still don't have any sports, maybe we'll do roommate trivia with you guys or something.
I'm glad to know we were on the list.
I love it. Hey, Mike, remember, crawfish and football, that's what Louisiana does, bro.
See that's what I was telling Colin. I got to make my way down to Louisiana to visit him sometimes because I've never had crawfish before.
Well, come on down. We'll treat you to some crawfish, but don't get on a plane until the coronavirus is under control, all right?
Yeah,
be a responsible citizen, all right?
Yeah.
All right, fellas. Hey, thanks for having some fun, guys. Really appreciate y'all, all right? Be well.
I appreciate it.
For having me.
All right, guys. We'll see you. It's Colin Jeter and a surprising add-on there with Mike Dunn.